Ever since Unreal Engine 5 was announced almost a year ago, I knew it was going to be a game changer on the industry. And now that we can finally check out the early access for Unreal Engine 5, I decided to push my PC to the limit by making the most realistic scene I could possibly put up. So I found a game jam that was going on for around 1 week, and I thought, it is finally time to put all of those free assets that I have been hoarding over the months to good use and also try out what is possible to make using metahumans. So let's get into it. The first thing I started working on was the player model. Her name is Echo, and she's a survivor of a post-apocalyptic future where machines took over Earth. Very original, I know, thanks. She has a device on her chest that allows her to go back in time into 2 phases of the same area, at least talking from a gameplay perspective. My concept idea is that in the game you will have 2 levels that are overlapped within each other, and you will be able to go in between them, so it is going to be present and future. Something like BioShock Infinite or the new UE5 demo. So the present time would have these men in black that were going to hunt you down because they want the technology for time travel, and in the future you were going to have machines hunting you down because it is a apocalyptic future, something like Terminator. When creating Echo, I used the MetaHuman creator for the model itself, and then I exported it into ZBrush so that I could sculpt her armor. Due to the constraint in time, I wasn't really able to make the cool badass armor I wanted to do with the other parts of the body, so I ended up just duplicating her same shoulder pads to the rest of her body. One of the coolest flagship features in Unreal Engine 5 is Nanite, which makes it so that you can have static meshes of almost any polygon count in your scene, and it just works. Each piece of armor in Echo has 1 million polygons, give or take, and yes, they are all static meshes. I used the same method for making my static meshes as they used on the giant golem on the demo, where you just plug nanite pieces into the bones of a parent skeletal mesh. Using nanite, you don't have to worry about retopology anymore. Just have it low enough to be able to automatically UV unwrap and paint it on substance. Once I finished the character model, it was time to make the animation logic on how she should work. I decided to pick a project that I used before on SparkMods called Advanced Locomotion System. A couple of months back, I reverse engineered how ALS was working, and it is one of the most sophisticated systems I have ever seen for animation. So I think it should work really well with this realistic style that I'm going for with this game. This time my work was to make the metahuman work well enough so that I could make the retargeting bones to the new animation system. So stuff like virtual bones and retargeting poses. There is a really good video on the subject that goes over all the necessary steps so you don't have any major issues when retargeting. Now that we have this awesome animation system working, I'm going to start working on the landscape for the character to move around. To start, I use this website called terrain.party to grab a height map for my landscape. This right here is a height map, where lighter values means up and darker values means down. This way, when I'm creating my terrain, I can use the topology of a real-world location into my landscape. And boom, I got a cool starting point for generating my map. The next step is to make a ground material, which I'm going to use an auto material that I had from a previous tutorial that I followed. Auto materials are smarter materials for landscapes that change your texture based on terrain inclination. When you combine auto materials and terrain.party, you can get some really natural looking landscapes without wasting too much time. From there, I started inserting some Megascan assets with Nanite enabled and also some foliages, just getting a feel for what the landscape was going to be and where I would place each building and stuff like that. Even though Nanite does not work on foliage, I wanted to make this lush green forest with some old buildings and maybe some train yards on it. Luckily, I had just the assets to use in my big horde. And there we go, my almost final scene. So I think you guys can notice that my computer is dying already. Lumen ended up being very hard for my RTX 2060 to handle, and after disabling it, I was able to run at an acceptable frame rate for most times. And that is understandable given the quality of the lighting and animations that you see when Lumen is enabled. The good news is that you can enable and disable it by using the post-process actor, so you can easily put those as options so that the player can choose if he wants Lumen or not. My next step is going to be adding gameplay mechanics and the whole time travel thing using different layers of maps, something that they introduced in Unreal Engine 5. But that is going to be on another video since I'm all out of time. So if you have any suggestions of gameplay mechanics or stuff you want me to add on the next video, comment it down below. Subscribe for more videos about game development and beyond. I'm Leo, signing off.